Welcome back to the Mad Spideyverse. I'm Mad Spidey, and thank you once again for tuning into my channel. Today is going to be another one of my statue collection videos. This is episode, I think it's number 37, so I've already showed you 37 pieces of my statue collection so far. Obviously, I've said this before, probably in some earlier videos, but there's a long way to go. It's more just the fact of actually getting to them that's the hard part. But basically, yeah, the idea of this statue, whether you want to call it a statue review or statue unboxing or something like that, it's all to do with my Bowen Designs statue collection. Bowen Designs was the premier statue company basically in the mid to late 90s, early 2000s. Obviously there's a lot, there's so many companies now that there's too many to list. But pretty much Bowen Designs basically did three ranges. They did a mini bust, mini statue, and a full-size statue range. The mini statues were pretty much 9 times out of 10 exactly the same as the full-size statues, so I decided to, long ago, I literally got rid of all my mini statues and just went for the mini bus and the full-size statues. I try to become a completist, but yeah, a lot of money, yeah, obviously I don't have that. So, but I did really well. I had a lot of contacts that were, letting me pay off things and group things into, deliveries into boxes, where I get 5 or 6 at a time. So I just sort of cut down on the shipping, even though it was expensive. It's better to get sort of 5 or 6 statues for, say, $120, $150 shipping than to get one for like $80. So it worked out a lot better that way. But as I said, yeah, Bowen Designs, I do have quite an extensive collection, and I'm very, very proud of, very happy to have. I did mention, obviously, that all this stuff's in storage, so trying to get to it is not as easy, and quite often I do have more mini busts than I do full-size statues. Some people like the mini busts, some people prefer the full-size statues, because obviously you get a lot more detail in a full-size statue. But yeah, like there is going to be spans of time where I'm basically going to do maybe 5 or 10 or 15 or whatever mini busts in a row, because it's harder to get to the full-size statues because they're generally at the bottom because they're bigger boxes. But so in saying that, obviously I did a mini bust last episode. This will be another mini bust this episode. Today's mini bust is Dormammu. So obviously one of the main antagonists to Doctor Strange. Now, obviously, as I've said many a time before, if you've never watched one of these episodes before, Bowen Designs boxes are quite often easy to spot because of the grey boxes that have, sort of words and names and little sort of, pictures of characters and all that sort of stuff in it. All of Marvel. And then obviously the picture on the front of what it actually is. Unlike the full-size statues, the mini bust will actually have a synopsis on the actual character. They don't do this with the full-size statues, generally giving you, what the character's about. And then they give you 2 pictures down below. Generally, not always, but generally the first picture is the first appearance book, but in this case it's not. It's actually quite a bit later. They've actually done a Defenders book. So yeah, probably I think the Defenders book maybe came out about 10-15 years after the first appearance. But yeah, generally it's usually the first appearance or something close to it, and the other book is usually a newer book that's been released closer to the time of release of the actual physical statue itself. The other side will have sculpt details, who actually design and sculpted the prototype. And then like size, height and, width and all that sort of stuff as well. The other thing of note is obviously they are limited edition. Generally, most of the mini busts went quite high. So you're looking at runs of anywhere from 2,000-3,000 up to, I think the biggest might have been 10,000 worldwide release. This one was actually a rather small one in comparison, so there was only 700 of these worldwide. So 700 might sound like a lot, or not, you know, but yeah, it might sound like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, if you're like, you know, there might be 100,000 collectors in the world that might have collected Bowen statues. It might be more, might be less, but just say 100,000, 700 is not much. So getting your hands on one is not necessarily easy. But yeah, glad to have this in my collection. So let's do the obvious thing now and open it up and show you what is the Dormammu mini bust all about. So obviously, as per normal, I always say as well, full size and mini bust and even the mini statues would generally have the up written on the side, or sorry, on the, you know, on the back of it, or the Bowen Designs logo, so you know which way to actually open the foam up. All right, now this is all in one piece, which is good. Now the other thing that to note is, I've always said as well that generally there was, I really need to research this. I keep saying this and I haven't done it yet. Pretty sure there was 5 phases, either 5 or 6 phases of the statues and mini busts, like the whole range basically. The mini busts especially started very basic, so you literally were getting a bust. So it was like no arms, you know, probably cut off at the waist, literally just a, you know, just your main torso and a head. But as they got on in phases, they got a lot more intricate and a lot more detailed and bigger as well. This is definitely one of those. Like even just looking at the base, well, the base is ridiculously intricate. But even Dormammu himself, show you the back with like the flames. So yeah, very, very intricate. Hopefully that's not a, nice. Just a bit of foam on the back, no blemish, it's all good. So yeah, and even sort of the, almost like a crown of thorns sort of. So that black around his head. But yeah, so it's quite an intricate piece for a mini bust. So very, very cool indeed. And as I said about the limited edition, you will find on the bottom of the actual mini bust and the full-size statues and the mini statues as well, it will have the numbered edition on there. So as I said, it's out of 700, so this one was 1, so that's really horrible writing. To me, that looks like it could be a 138. We'll have a look on the bottom of the box. Yeah, so 138, but yeah, that's a really horrible 3. But yeah, that's what the base will look like itself. So yeah, it's very, very cool mini bust indeed. So very glad to have that in my collection. But that will do for this particular video. So thank you very much for tuning in. But if you watch the whole thing, obviously if you've seen these videos before and you've scrolled past all my gibberish at the start explaining who Bowen Designs is, I totally understand. Just get to the mini bust, that's fine. But if you haven't seen any of these videos before, if you can watch the whole thing, that'd be great. But yeah, thank you each and every one of my subscribers, my viewers, everything like that. I greatly appreciate it very, very much. Do all the usual YouTubey stuff like every content creator always says. Hit that like button, because apparently hitting that like button helps the algorithm. Helps the algorithm, gets more eyes on your channel, gets you more subs, gets your name out there more. So yeah, please hit that thumbs up. If you want to leave a comment, you can leave a comment. If you don't, that's great. Even if you just chuck a, you know, thumbs up or thanks or whatever, or it looks cool or whatever in the comments, that's great as well. But yeah, thumbs up and the subscribe button is the main two. But yeah, as I said, if you want to leave a comment, I greatly appreciate that too. I try and answer each and every one as much as humanly possible. Obviously, sometimes you miss them, the YouTube. Sometimes you get a lot of like hidden or sort of missing comments and stuff like that. One of these days I'll try and find where I can find all them. I know it's in there, it's in the YouTube studio somewhere, but anyway, I'm waffling. Thank you once again. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and Spidey out.